People accused of running a driver's license scheme in Louisville are now facing federal charges.
Four of them appeared in court today. Jamie Mays joins us live to tell us what happened in front of the judge. Jamie?
Rick, Vicky, the defendants who appeared in court pleaded not guilty today. The fifth suspect does not have any record of his arrest just yet, but all are accused of working together, charging immigrants hundreds of dollars for illegal licenses. A new indictment described.
Now, remember, we talked about this before. To get around the system, they would go, illegal immigrants, go to these people, and some of them can't even read English, can't even read the signs, and they would pay enough money to where they can get a driver's license and go about their day. How many deaths could this have caused? Let's keep going, though.
The elaborate scheme targeting people who didn't know how to get a driver's license in Kentucky. The document says starting no later than November 1st, 2023, Raul Teles Ojeda, Lozaro Alejandro Castelo Rojas, and Robert Danger Correa recruited people who were immigrants and offered to get them a license by avoiding a line and bypassing testing requirements at the driver licensing regional office at the NIA Center. Those applicants were allegedly told fees ranged from $200 to $1,500 and were made to believe the process was legal. The indictment says the suspects often escorted applicants on the day of their appointment and told them where to wait and when to enter the NIA Center. Many of the applicants had difficulty speaking English. As part of the scheme, Danita Wilson and Ariel Matthews, who worked as temp workers at the NIA Center, are accused of manually changing the status of driver's license records so the system would recognize licenses that did not exist. According to the indictment, a duplicate license would be printed even though an original had never been issued. It also says the scheme involved kickbacks and bribes to other workers within the licensing office so that certain customers were directed to Wilson and Matthews' issuing stations. The suspects are accused of running the scheme through October of 2024. They're now charged with dozens of counts of mail fraud, unlawful production of identification documents, and money laundering conspiracy. Raul Teles Ojeda was not in court today, and there is no record of his arrest just yet. If convicted, the defendants face a maximum of 20 years for each count of charges filed.
$1,500 for a license. $1,500. They said anywhere ranging from $200 to $1,500. So let's go to the AI breakdown. A federal grand jury in Louisiana recently indicted 5 residents for their involvement in a multi-year scheme to illegally issue Kentucky driver's license to non-U.S. citizens. The group is accused of charging applicants between $200 and $1,500 to bypass the mandatory testing. So we got Danita and Matthews, former temporary workers for the regional driver's license office. And then we got Raul, Alejandro, and Robert, allegedly outside coordinators who recruited applicants. So was the woman's the main? We got these 2 women, 2 black women, the main people working in the office and doing this. So 4 of the 5 members have been arrested on February 6, 2026. As of the latest reports, Raul has not been taken into custody. The group faces dozens of charges, including mail fraud, money laundering, and unlawful production of identification documents. So the defendants face a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each count of mail fraud and money laundering. So they face dozens of federal, including mail fraud. So the operation. So this is the operation. So the clerk allegedly manually altered state computer records to make it appear as though the applicants had passed required testing or that the license already existed, allowing them to make a duplicate of it. The scheme primarily targeted legally present non-U.S. citizens who had difficulty speaking English and did not understand the standard licensing process. So they couldn't pass the exam. They couldn't pass the driving license exam that all of us took. All of us are required to pass, but they were let to get onto the road. Governor Andy stated that the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet has already revoked 1,985 fraudulent credentials linked to the investigation. The investigation remains ongoing, with trial dates currently set for April 7th, 2026. Now remember, we talked about this before. There was a whistleblower who worked there. I don't know if this is the same office, but I remember a whistleblower. Let's look, because if this is the same thing, more about the whistleblower. So let's go over into more about this. So the whistleblower at the center of the Kentucky fraud license is Marissa, a former licensed clerk who worked at the center. While training for a superior role, she instructed by her superiors to let new hires use her computer login credentials. She claimed that she was eventually invited into the scam by someone outside the office. She realized her coworkers, these two, were using her login to issue illegal licenses. She reported it to her supervisor and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet in October 2024. Despite her report, remember, she was terminated in January 2025 after meeting with the detectives. She filed a whistleblower lawsuit against KYTC and the staffing agency alleging wrongful termination. Her claim led to the statewide investigation and resulted in 1985, so 1,985 fraudulent credentials. Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that and let me know how you feel about it.